Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, I hope that all of you are fine and studying at home and giving a proper time to your studies. Today, I have given you one assignment class test. Basically, this is a class test. And why I'm giving you these tests? Because we are supposed to be habitual. We are supposed to be used to with the Google Classroom so that when in your exam, in your first monthly test, inshallah, when you will be taking your paper, we will be attempting your paper, so you should not face any problem. Fine. So I have given you, you will see that in your Google Classroom, that I have given you this class test. You have to write answer on paper. You have to write answer on paper and then you have to submit it via Google Classroom. Okay. So these kind of tests are there that I am giving you with the passage of time. MCQs test will also be there that I'm going to give you, inshallah. Today or tomorrow, it will be uploaded in your Google Classroom. You will be able to see. You have to submit the answers over here. Before that, I had given one assignment as well, but some students they had, I think, submitted the answers, but some students they did not submit the answer. I am unable to understand why. Only some students were there who submitted the answers. You can see over here those who have submitted some files over here. So these are basically your class assignments, and there are some marks for the class assignments. So you need to submit the answers, but keep in mind that typed answers are not allowed at all. We are, getting less practice for the written work. That's why I am asking you to write on paper and submit the image or PDF file. No need to submit the Word file or typed document. Okay. And in the same thing is there that in your paper, you are not allowed to submit over here the typed document. Keep in mind, typed document should not be there. Okay. Typed document is not allowed. So whatever you have submitted, all mostly the students have submitted in the form of a document, which is basically a typed document. So you are going to lose your marks. This is not allowed. Keep in mind. And you will write on paper just like you submit your work in your exams. You will write on paper and then you are going to submit. Fine. All the three students, they have given the soft copy answer. Soft copy of typed text will not be allowed. So this assignment that I have given you today, this class test, these are very short questions. We have discussed these all things. You have to write on paper and you have to submit it over here. It will be of one page only. Okay, I hope there isn't any issue. Similarly, I am going to give you the class test for MCQs as well, inshallah, today, inshallah. Uh, if you go to the chapter, so I would like to give you the question and answers, these question and answers as well. Short question and answer for chapter number 1. Okay. And you have to submit the answer. Short question and answers will be given to you. You have to submit the answer because question can come anywhere from the chapter. You are now mature enough, you have to write the answer. One topic can be asked in some different ways. Okay. So you are not supposed to say that this question was written in my chapter and I will have the same question in my board exam. No, not at all. This is not the case. Okay. So one more assignment which will be there, it will be basically an assignment, and chapter 1, and it will be basically short question. You have to submit for the short questions. And of course, in these short questions, what you are going to write, what is the thing that you are going to write, will be the questions and the answers you have to find out by going through the book. I'm not saying that you are not able to take the help from the book. No, this is an assignment. These are the class tests. You can take help from the book and then use that knowledge to write your answer. This is basically the strategy. Okay. So what are the short questions that you are supposed to do? These are the questions that I am going to give you in your test. Question number, we will start from this, which is basically question number 1, question number 2, okay, then 3. So these are the questions that I am going to give you. And I hope that all these students will participate and will submit the answer. If not, then of course, you are going to lose the class marks, and basically there is a need of participation. Okay, I have facilitated you, I have explained you all the things, and no one is going to say that he or she is unaware how to use the Google Classroom. No one is going to claim this thing. This is very important. Okay, so these are the questions which are given to you, and you have to submit it over here, and you have to give answers for all these questions. You are in 9th grade, you are not in the lower grades where the question and answer will be same written in your copy and the same questions will come in your paper. This is not the case. This is the thing that we need to understand this thing. This is the thing that we need to understand. Okay, will you please mute yourself, and when you need to ask something, you will raise the hand and then you are going to ask me the question. If you have got any confusion, anything, if anything is there that is any type of confusion, so you are just going to ask me. Okay, you are going to ask me. No need to worry about it. Just ask me. Okay, so this assignment is also due on you, and you have to do the work and you have to submit it. Now come towards the today's lesson. We know that we have to start from today next chapter, although that we have to do the long questions as well. One more assignment for the long questions will also be there for chapter number 1 that I will give you in your next class. But what we are going to do today, we have to see chapter number 2, and chapter number 2 is about operating system that we are going to start. Last time we have already accomplished, you can see in your Google Classroom what was the last lesson was conducted on 18th of May, and it was about the software system, software application, software, difference between application and system software, open source, shareware and freeware softwares, and the notes was also given to you. This is the work that you have to write in your copies. These are the notes that you are supposed to note down. Okay, and this contains the examples, differences, the things which are not available in the book, and there are sometimes questions in the exam, just like differentiate. This differentiate is not given in the book. We have to differentiate between the system software and the application software. So such kind of things are there, and I hope that you are regularly going through these all notes. Now come towards the chapter number 2. Chapter number 2 is fundamentals of operating system. You know very well that operating system is the master control program of our computer system. This is the program without which you are unable to use the computer system if the operating system is not installed. We have to install operating system, and then we become able to communicate with our computer system. Okay, because a computer is basically having a language, basically, which is basically the language which is 0 and 1. So if you see the role of operating system as interpreter, it is basically an interpreter. Interpreter means translator. Translator. Translator means the computer language is 0 and 1, and our language is basically a language which is, in the form of a language which is human language. So how we are going to communicate with the computer system? Computer language is 0 and 1. So of course, there is basically in between, there is basically a software inside the computer system, which is called the operating system. And that operating system is basically going to connect us with the CPU. This operating system will connect us with the CPU, and then we will be able to talk to the CPU, and you know that we are giving instructions in English that we know, and whatever the warnings and alerts are coming from the CPU, these are also coming in English. So of course there is a translator in between us, between the computer and the user, who is going to translate their medium, and we are able to communicate with the computer system. That is just because of the operating system. I hope that this point is clear, that what is basically the role of the operating system while communicating with the computer system. So computers operating system is basically a master control program which manages all the operation. If you will go to Google, you will find out different applications, different definitions of the operating system. But famous operating system definition is that it is basically a master control program which manages all the operations, hardware, software, and provides common services for the computer. It also provides you the user interface. User interface means how the outer look will be there in your computer. So you know that we have got Windows or DOS or some kind of operating system that normally we use, Linux or Unix, Sun Solaris, some kind of operating system will be there that we are using. And that is basically the environment which is going to connect us with the computer system. Okay, so this is basically the major software without which you cannot install any other software, any other application. Can you install Microsoft Word or Excel or PowerPoint or Publisher or Corel Draw or Adobe Photoshop without operating system, without Windows? No. First, you will install the Windows, then you will be able to install other softwares. So these are the different examples of operating systems you can see over here. Microsoft Windows, Apple computers, they have got another operating system, which is basically Apple Macintosh. Apple Android operating system is also there. Google Android is there. Okay, Linux operating system is there. So these all are the operating systems which are available in the market. These are famous operating systems. Apart from this, others are also there, keep in mind. Now, what does an operating system do? If we categorize, what are the tasks done by operating system? If we categorize, we'll be able to know that it manages processes. Process means a small piece of program. When you are running a program, so program is basically going to be processed by the computer system. How the memory will be managed, how the input and output devices will be managed, how the files will be managed. Okay, how all the resources are going to be managed. These are the functions of operating system. We are going to cover the same: process management, memory management, input and output management, file management, resource management, and user management. These are the things that we are going to see. Okay, and you know very well that these topics about the operating system, these are going to come in our paper. These are going to come in our paper. Why? Because we have seen that chapter number 1 is there in the syllabus, and chapter number 2 is there in the syllabus, and chapter number 2 topics are there, which are basically the operating system. I have given one post as well, I think, over here for syllabus as well. Yes, schedule of the first monthly test. This is basically the schedule of the first monthly test, which is given over here. So I have also shared with you that we are going to have these two chapters: operating system functions. What will be there from this second chapter? Operating system and its functions. And afterwards, the user interfaces. These will be there. These two questions will be there. And chapter number 1 complete, it will be there. So we are going to cover it today. Process management. First, we need to see the process management. What is meant by process management? Process management is an essential part of operating system, because whenever we are running a program, when a program is in execution, when a program is in basically in the execution, so that's it. Basically, in computer system, multiple processes are executing concurrently. Concurrently means at the same time, or waiting for their turn to be executed, because CPU is going to give them time one by one. A process in execution needs resources. When you need to run the process, you will need the memory, you will need the virtual memory, sometime hard drive, you will need the CPU, of course. different components of the CPU, CPU registers. You will need all these types of resources. And when the process is done, of course, you are going to send it towards output, input, output devices. So process will be managed by the operating system. The operating system must allocate resources to the process, enable process to share and exchange information, and protect the resources of each process from one another, so that each process should be separate. For example, you know that one process will contain one program will contain multiple processes, can contain multiple processes. Just like in one window, I have opened a number of windows. So all windows are separate from each other. All data is from separate from each other. So the process should be separated. Their resources should be separated from each other. There should not be any confusion. So process management keep tracks of processor and status of process. Process is done or not, it is under process, it has been done, it is complete, incomplete, what is the status? All this thing is managed over here. Allocates the process management over here. What happens that allocation of the CPU is done, and when the work is done, deallocation is done. Deallocation means when the work is done, then deallocate the CPU. Just like right now my Microsoft Word is opened, so it has been allocated the CPU, but when I will close it, so of course that particular allocation of the resource will be removed from that process. So this is called process management. Now come towards the next one, which is memory management. Memory means RAM. Mainly RAM we are talking about. So you know that there is RAM, and of course RAM will be allocated to the process that is going to be executed. So you know that when we press the buttons on the desktop, which is Control Shift and Escape, we have got one window which is going to show that what are the different processes which are basically going on right now. It shows us the processes, performance of the CPU, how much CPU is being used, how much RAM is being used right now. You can see over here 4.1 GB is being used from my 8 GB RAM. Okay, how much hard drive is there in the right now in the process. So you will see that these are the processes which are going on, and it will show you the graph of the utilization of the CPU. So memory will be allocated. Memory will be allocated accordingly, according to the requirement. According to the requirement of that particular process, the memory will be used. So when programs are run by users, operating system allocates portions of the memory, free memory, of course. When the program will be closed, then it will deallocate that memory. For example, if I will open the Adobe Photoshop, you know that Adobe Photoshop is a heavy software. It will take the memory, and you will be able to see that the memory storage will increase over here, where I have shown you this graph of memory, that this is the memory that is basically being used. So you will see that when I am going to use the Adobe Photoshop, so my system will become heavier and more memory will be used by my system. And when I will close the Photoshop, of course, you will see that the memory will be deallocated from that resource, and that process will be completed. That process will be terminated. So this is the thing that we need to understand over here. So what happens over here? We need to see, come towards this page. File management. First we see the memory management. What are the tasks done? These are the tasks. Keep tracks of primary storage, memory, that is part of it are in use by the process, in which process is using it. In multi-programming, operating system decides which process will get memory when and how much process will be done. Allocates the memory when a process requests it to do, and deallocates the memory when the process is done. Okay, so over here you will see that right now it is showing me 4.2. It was 4.1. Remember when I opened it, it was 4.1, but now I have opened Adobe Photoshop. You can see that it is showing me 4.2. Okay, when I will open multiple tasks over here, multiple files over here, you will see that it will allocate different memories location to this program. And you know that the memory capacity is increased. It is now 4.3. Can you see this? Now it has been increased 4.3. And if I go to the Photoshop and I close all these files, then of course it will take a time and then it will be decreased again. It will be decreased. You will be able to see this thing. It will deallocate it and it will be decreased. I hope that this point of allocation of the memory is now clear by this example. This is clear or not? Come towards the next point, which you can give the feedback by thumbs up sign, Come towards the next point, which is basically the next point is basically input and output management. How input and output will be done? Input devices are involved in giving input. Input can be a voice input by mic, character input by keyboard, any command by mouse. Okay. And output will be voice output from speaker, display output using monitor or screen, and hard copy output using printer or plotter. So these are basically the input and output devices which are involved when we are using them and in any process. Of course, operating system are going to allow them. You see that sometimes your system is going to be hanged, and sometimes you are unable to give any more command. What happens that the input output is there already in the process and the system is not allowing you to give more inputs. So management of these devices is responsibility of the operating system. All these devices, all peripheral devices, keyboard, mouse, mic, joystick, touchpad, touch screen, print output devices, if we see monitor, plotter, printer, speaker, all these devices are basically the input and output devices. These are managed by operating system. Operating system is going to manage all these hardware resources. Then come towards the next point, which is basically the file management. File management, you know that what kind of operations are there? We can create a file. We can create a file. Just like we create a file, on the desktop. I am creating a file. You know that we can right click, we can create a file, we can create a folder. I can create a folder with the name of, let's suppose, 9 class. I can go there, I can create the files of the softwares which are available, which are installed in my computer system. I can create a PowerPoint file. I can create a Word file. Similarly, I can delete the file. All these operations. I can delete a file. I can rename a file. For example, one file is there on my desktop. I am going to rename it with some other words. I can move the file. I can cut it from here and I can paste it to another location. These all are the file operations which are basically done by operating system. If Windows was not there, I would not be able to perform these operations. Would I be? No. Because all these facilities, all these commands which are there related to creation of file, folder, and deletion of files and folder, this is done by the operating system. Renaming of file, moving file, copying file, pasting file, creating multiple files. Okay. All these, moving the file to the recycle bin, emptying the recycle bin means deleting the files permanently. All these operations are done by the operating system. All these operations, creating, opening, editing, renaming, moving, keep copying and deleting. All these operations are done by the operating system. So you will see that these are the operations. What are the operations? Keep track of the information of the file. There is basically a file allocation table. File allocation table, also called network file system. Okay, and TFS will be there, or which manages, which ensures that in which folder what files are there. You can see on the left side, this is my PC. Over there, there is C drive, D drive, E drive. What are different folders in these drives, and what are the folders in the folder, and folders in the folders, folders inside the folders, and then files inside those folders. All these things are basically managed by the keeping track of information, means managed by the operating system. Then decides who gets the resources, which file will be managed, how it will be managed, how many space will be allocated to a file when it will be opened. Sometimes hard drive is involved using virtual memory when you are running a heavy file. For example, a video file. A video file is, for example, of 10 GB is there, and you have got 2 GB RAM. How it will run? It will run with the collaboration of the hard drive. And when the process is done, of course, Deallocation of the resources will also be done. So file management, all these operations that we have mentioned, creation, deletion, all these operations that we have mentioned over here, these are done by the operating system. What is meant by allocation of the resources? What does it mean? Allocation of the resources. Resource management. When we say resource, hardware resource, software resource, memory, CPU, even internet is also a resource. All resources are managed by operating system. One CPU is there which is being shared by different processes. Who is going to ensure that particular thing, that the CPU is being shared in a proper way with a justified manner? Of course, this will be done by operating system, and this is called resource management. Resource management is very important. Input and output management, all types of hardware, softwares, all these things. If you are using internet, what is the bandwidth? If you're using a network, what is the bandwidth? What is the capacity of the media you are using? And how the data is being transmitted? All these things are managed. So it keeps tracks of all resources for input and output, decides which process gets the device when and for how much time, allocates the resource in the efficient manner. And of course, when the work is done, deallocation of the resource is done. Okay, so these are the important points that we have discussed about. User management is also there, which is mentioned in your book, and this is very important. Some users have got some different rights. You know that we have got the user management option in our Windows. Even in your normal Windows, you can go to the user management by settings or in control panel, and you can see that we can manage users and we can create new accounts over here. And some users are there who are basically the administrator. Some users will be there who are basically the power users. Some users are there who are basically the guest users. Okay, so over here you can create users and you can allocate them the rights. Okay, and accordingly you can do it according to your requirement. When we go to manage account, we can create more accounts. Okay, add a new user for this PC, and we can add one user, that if there are multiple family members, so we create different users for the whole family, so that there should not be any preemption of the resources. Everyone's document should be separate from each other. In the same way, in the networks, we have got different users that we are going to manage, and different users have got different rights. Basic purpose is that the data should be secured. Data should not be okay. Let me mark the attendance. So these are the students present today. These topics are very important for our upcoming test. So in our computer lab, just like we have got different users, and wherever there is a proper lab, there are different users and they have got different rights with them. Now, if we see, these are the topics related to the functions of operating system. I will give you the proper notes in your Google Classroom. Now, what are the operating system interfaces? Interfaces means how the operating system outer look will be. You know that there is command line interface. Command line interface is the DOS interface, where we type command, just like if you need to see what are the different drives in the folder. Okay, so we type command and then we become able to see the output. This happens in the DOS. It was the older version and it was used in early 70s and 80s. Then afterwards, Windows was started. So command line interface, you need to remember the command. Of course, if you don't remember the command, you will not be able to apply that command. Okay. In command line interface, if you will write the wrong spelling, it will give you the error message. But if you will write the right spelling, if it will give you the right output, proper output. So command line interface, just like DOS interface, and it is not good looking that much. It will be in one screen where you are typing command and you're able to see the output. Then there is Windows or graphical user interface. Graphical user interface, just like our window environment, there are menus, there are graphics, there is pointing device, which is mouse. It is available over here and we are easily able to use it. If you see over here that one more option is there, which is basically called the menu driven interface. Menu driven interface is basically the interface where you have got some menus and you select the option from there. You know, most common example, menu driven. Most common example, you will see that the ATM interface. ATM machine you have used, there is an operating system. You will see that when you go there, when you click on some option, they give you some more option. When you click the option, they give you some more option. This is basically the menu based. And from those options, you are selecting the options and you are going towards the next options. So basically, this kind of, there are menus, just like in Word, you will see there are home, this is file menu. There are different commands available in the file menu. So this type of environment was there. And Novell NetWare is the example of the operating system, which was basically containing this this type of environment. And ProDOS, it was also menu based. ProDOS and Novell NetWare, these are menu based operating systems. But if you talk about the Windows, it is graphical user interface. If we talk about the DOS, it is command line interface. So I will share with you a proper note of differences between all of these as well. And we know that we need to differentiate them. We should know the examples as well. What is the example of command line, DOS and Unix? What is the example of graphical user interface? Of course, Windows and Mac operating system. What is the example of menu driven interface? We have got Novell NetWare and we have got ProDOS. So I will share with you the notes about it as well over here. And up to here, these all topics are included, keep in mind. These all topics are included in our coming test, which will be a monthly test. And it will contain 8 MCQs and it will contain 17 marks for the subjective question. So what we have covered today, I am going to give you these topics over here. Define operating system, functions of operating system, then user interfaces, by an operating system. User interfaces provided by different operating system. So these are the topics that we have covered today. I will give you the note over here, and the note will be basically about the differences as well. All these things will be covered, and I will share the video of today's lesson. You know very well that all videos are attached over here. All videos are attached. I will attach today's video as well. And today's topic is operating system. And now you know that we have started chapter number 2. Keep in mind, this is chapter 2, fundamentals of operating system. And the topic we have covered today is operating system. User interfaces are also covered. Up to here, all things are there in your first monthly test. Everyone should be clear about it. No confusion should be there. No confusion should be there. If you've got any question, contact me anytime. You can call me, you can ask me, you can send me voice message, any question, anything which is not clear. All of you have got my cell number. You can send me voice message, but if the reply does not come, just wait. Whenever I will be free, I will send you the reply. Okay. behave in a mature way. If you have sent me the message and I'm not giving the reply at that time, of course, when I will see the message, I will give you the reply. So everyone should be clear about all the things. No ambiguity should be there. I am going to give you these two tests today as well. One is for the MCQs and one is for subjective. And you have to do it today. Today you have to do it. Okay. And you will submit it. These class tests of subjective and objective paper. These are very short tests. Very short tests. Okay. Very short test. You can, if you want to take help from the book, no problem. Take help. I'm not saying that don't take help. Take help from the book, then close the book, then write the answer, and then submit it. Okay. If you've got any confusion, just ask me. If you've got any question, ask me right now. If no, then just give me the thumbs up to give me the feedback. All the things are clear. Good. Thank you so much, all of you. Thanks a lot.